Hey Dr. Hess, I hope you're doing well and I hope everything with your family has gotten to be much better. I know how worrisome stuff like that can be. But anyways, so for this assignment I decided to track Monday's food consumption of the day. And I started out with a pomegranate green tea. I've been kind of switching my coffee consumption into tea. And I always have like a big spoonful of honey to sweeten my tea. So I had that for breakfast, and well, a little bit later on, I drink my tea and then I eat something a little bit later, and I have been switching to like toast with a little bit of cream cheese, and I like chive and onion, probably not the healthiest for me, but that's what I've been going with, and I top it with cucumbers and crushed black pepper. So then throughout the day, I ate lunch around like 1 or 2, and between then I had like a kiwi. I've been cutting them in half and trying to just like scooping them out with a spoon. And then I had chili for lunch with sour cream, and it's venison chili, homemade, and we can our own tomatoes, so it's pretty healthy, at least I think so. And then just later on, my parents don't eat until like 7-ish, so I just had some fruit, like a handful of like blackberries and raspberries, just to kind of tide me over until we actually had dinner. And for dinner, I made my favorite. I don't know if you've ever been to Jalapeno, but Jalapeno in Harrisonburg, but they have the best fish tacos, and you have to get them grilled. If you get them fried, you won't like them at all. But their fish tacos are awesome, and I've like been able to replicate them or come close to it at least. So I made flounder fish tacos, and we just like slice up some red cabbage, and I make my own homemade chipotle sauce. And then my mom, we have a big garden here, so my mom does. She always makes a big salad with every dinner we eat. So it's spinach and like field greens, and we have some arugula and just like carrots, and like sweet red and orange and yellow peppers are all cut up, and sometimes celery, and we always top it with olives and balsamic and some feta. And then I had 2 glasses of wine, and for dessert later on I had a slice of homemade apple pie, which I attempted, and it wasn't as good as it should have been, but it was okay. So overall my total calorie allowance is 2,200, but with this, I don't think I wrote it down, but I think it was around 1,500, so it was like drastically a good 500 calories off. So definitely can look at eating a little bit more, increasing my calorie intake. So for question 1, by examining my food groups, or examining the food group report, overall I didn't meet my targets as well as I should have. I think, where is it? My grains were under, my veggies were over, my fruits were barely under. The recommended amount was 2 cups, and I was at 1.5 cups. And then my dairy was significantly under, and my protein was okay. It was 6 ounces, and I was just at 6 ounces. But so I lacked in all foods except vegetables and protein. However, I was really close to meeting my fruit intake, which, I mean, give or take, I probably did meet my fruit intake, because throughout the day I'm dabbling with bites of, strawberries, a couple of strawberries here and there, and, I go outside and walk outside and pick a strawberry off the vine, stuff like that, so I probably did actually meet it. But my main improvement should be to increase my dairy intake over the grains, but to both look at grains and dairy, because dairy was significantly under my targeted amount. And the reason why is because I'm starting to become lactose intolerant, and I really hate dairy. I've never been like a big milk drinker. The only way I can really get it into my system is through yogurts and even ice cream. I don't really like ice cream, so it's been a struggle for me across the years. But like I said, it's more difficult to find ways to incorporate dairy into my lifestyle or into my diet because I am becoming more lactose intolerant. I've noticed it like at the end of high school, and now after 4 years of college, I'm definitely not a huge fan of dairy. But I love cheese, if that counts, but not a huge fan of milk. I also said that I want to improve my grain intake as well. So I'm looking at mainly like dairy and grains. I think that's the most important. So the second question, after looking at my nutrients report, I found that I'm consuming significantly less than 80% of calcium and vitamin D, but only slightly consuming less than 80% of the recommended nutrients in linoleic acid, potassium, iron, vitamin E, and choline, not sure how to say that, but calcium and vitamin D were the two big ones where I definitely need to increase. And both of those are found in milk, the one thing I like to avoid. And I went on a big almond milk and soy milk kick, and I just don't like milk. I think that's my problem. But alright, so question 3. Based on what I learned from Super Tracker, I plan on setting my main goal of increasing my dairy intake to 1 1/2 to 2 cups a day, and working on eating more whole grains to try and meet my targeted amount of 7 ounces. I might try to eat 2 pieces of whole grain bread for breakfast instead of just 1. Because I really love that whole grain toast with like cream cheese and then some sliced cucumbers on top. It's really yummy. I also like to do just like whole grain toast with just a little bit of butter and honey, or maybe just honey, but I like the butter. So my 4th question is, after searching through the nutritional tips, I chose to use the Got Your Dairy Today page and to find ways to increase my dairy intake. By selecting a combination of tip 2, boost your potassium, vitamin D, and cut your sodium, and tip 9, can't drink milk, I will be able to target my dairy intake by choosing fat-free yogurt as small snacks throughout my day, and this will help me manage my lactose intolerance while increasing my dairy and calcium intake. And then for my second goal, for increasing my intake of whole grains, I chose to use the Make Half of Your Grains Whole Grains page. Within this page, I selected tip number 1, making simple switches. By using this tip, I will try to switch my granola that I eat regularly. I like to snack on granola, especially granola that has like chunks of fruit and nuts and stuff. But I'm going to try to switch that to whole grains to better increase and manage my whole grain intake. And then for the 5th question, I finally chose to use Siggy's individual non-fat yogurts, and I have it right here. This one's just raspberry. I prefer raspberry. I think I love vanilla yogurt, but I do not like their vanilla yogurt. But I chose their yogurts to help me reach my goal of increasing my dairy and calcium intake. Oh no. Did I hit end? No? Okay. I'm going to keep going. So, anyways, Siggy's yogurt is a great 100 calorie snack. It's a 1 serving size. And it's only 55 milligrams of sodium. It has 0 fat, trans or saturated, and it has 11 grams of sugar and 14 grams of protein. However, the reason I chose to increase my calcium and dairy intake with these little guys is because their daily value of calcium is 20%, which is high. So I think if I eat 1 of these or 2 of these throughout the day, it can significantly help me increase my calcium intake and dairy intake overall. I read, I think it was on, now I'm not sure what it was on, but it was on one of the websites that it said cream cheese is not considered a dairy product. Cream cheese and butter. I think it was more like saturated fat, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. I know the butter was, but I'm not sure if the cream cheese, I just said that it wasn't considered dairy. And I love cream cheese. I could probably go for a low-fat cream cheese, but I kind of don't mind. Just the added calories, I don't think they're going to kill me. That's why whenever I eat butter, I don't eat margarine, but I always just get regular butter. I don't get low sodium or low fat, just because I don't think a little bit of added fats or sodium is going to hurt me that much. But so back to the topic. Another reason I chose to use Siggy's was because the ingredients are simple. There's let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 ingredients. It's pasteurized skim milk, raspberries, cane sugar, fruit pectin, and live cultures. So I like that. And then it also says that they promote grass-fed, and they don't use any growth hormones for their cows. So I think that's nice to know, and I support that. So I wouldn't mind paying, a couple dollars more to, have that. And then they also don't use any preservatives and other sweeteners. And on the label it says more protein than sugar, and with none of those weird vacacious sweeteners. And then on the side, it says that there. And then on the side it says all natural from grass-fed cows, no aspartame, no sucralose, no gelatin, no artificial colorings, no preservatives, and no high fructose corn syrup. And then it says milk produced without the use of recombinant bovine growth hormone. And I know that Chobani also does the same, but Chobani has a little bit more sugar, or has a lot more sugar than this one, and a lot more ingredients that I cannot pronounce, and I like to be able to pronounce my ingredients. So overall, that's about it. I think my dietary intake is okay. I could do more for dairy, that's for sure. My grains, I'm a grilled cheese advocate. I love grilled cheeses, and I only buy whole grain bread. I always buy freshly baked from the bakery whole grain bread. So I try to stay away from preservatives as much as possible with all of my products and meats, and oh no.